Hi everyone, sorry I joined a bit late there. My name's Nat Marshall and I play for the Sydney club in New South Wales and Australia, and for the New Zealand Masters team. So this is this New Zealand under-24 team versus the Argentinian under-24 team. So I just missed the start there. But I do have the team sheets. The New Zealand men's team obviously coming in, I think probably fair to say, the favourites on this. You can see the stacked 2-3-1 lineup running across the New Zealand formation there with that outside wing number 3, who's Fraser Smith-Rice, sitting very nicely in a horribly dangerous position for the Argentinians should the puck come out that way. I've got to admit, I don't know anything about how the Argentinian formation works. I guess we have to wait till there's a free puck or something like that. You can kind of see what it is they're planning to do. New Zealand throwing a big forward pass there onto these big, fast, hard bottom forwards. Had the pleasure of playing in Wellington about a month ago for the first time in 20-something years. And I was lucky enough to be on the same team as Nick Jones, who's the vice-captain, number 4, and he's very good. He's dyed his hair kind of like leopard spots, which is quite a striking effect, but man, that guy can tackle. You see there the New Zealand forwards driving it up the goal, the New Zealand winger in there to close the back door, but the Argentinians have successfully closed the front door on them hard, taken it to their corner. See them trying to kind of manoeuvre it out. The commentary box is pretty far away from where the court is. You can see the refs there trying to get the guys to stop playing. The buzzer has gone a while ago. The puck's on the other side of the pool from where the Argentinian benches, but you can see there that they've managed to, maybe exit the danger zone, and they haven't let New Zealand convert that kind of positional space they had. And they had a very dangerous looking drive on the goal there, and the Argentinians have managed to push it out again. Now we're down the other end of the pool. The Argentinians have managed to take it all the way up the pool, 15 metres or so, and they're putting enormous amount of pressure on the New Zealand right wing, who's managed to get it off by turning inside to his forward. It's Nick Jones again. Number 8, Carlos Ralph. Nick throwing a big pass up to, unfortunately, an Argentinian there. Sorry, commentator's curse. He'd say he's done a good thing, and then suddenly good New Zealand players on the bottom there. Unfortunately, number 11 just went up there. Sam Pav Smith, number 5. See, the body position of the New Zealanders is pretty good, but the Argentinians are eating what's coming at them pretty well. Having said that, now it's now driving straight up the middle, and if we cut to the right angle, we might find the Argentinians have managed to peel it off the New Zealander, but the New Zealanders have managed to put it back in the middle of the pool, and they have scored a goal. Yes, the refs are scoring a goal. I'm looking out the window now. There's no chance I'm going to see how many fingers they're holding up from this distance, but we'll get it up on the screen in a second. Could have been Otis McKenzie. I think they might have had 2. And Fraser Smith-Rice maybe 3 fingers up. So 1-0 to New Zealand. 5 minutes into the game. Afraid I didn't catch who actually scored it. Here we are back to the big game. I'm not sure if the sideline interview there cut me off or not. New Zealand scored a goal. I didn't catch who scored it. I'm too far away to see the ref's fingers, but I think it might have been Otis McKenzie or Fraser Smith-Rice. Argentinians are doing a good job of diffusing what the New Zealand team are trying to put together here. But I think it's fair to say New Zealand's enjoyed most of the possession. I feel like, yeah, that poor Argentinian guy did a great job there of tackling and then got hit by 2 other New Zealanders. So instead of, every time they get the puck, they sort of seem like they're basically surrounded. Advantage puck to Argentina. It was a gloving foul. I did actually manage to see that one. Oh, and they put it on the screen for me anyway, so yeah, not that flash. Great commentating that. Refs are calling advantage to New Zealand. Number 2 for some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct, and no, it's 2, or is it 2-0? Argentinian player. I have a 2-0 on their. Is it 10? I think it's number 10. Sorry, it's number 10. Valentin Gincarelli is their vice captain. Is out for some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct. It could have been a high puck, maybe, I think. Sorry, it's just hard to see exactly what the refs are calling from here. It may have been a high puck. Dangerous puck. For the people watching from home aren't underwater hockey players themselves, the puck's like 1.3 kilograms of lead, so if you catch it in the head in the wrong angle, it can really hurt you. Got these new masks designed by Eric Straley from America, who we're lucky enough to have in the Sydney club fairly often. The puck basically just bounces straight off now, which is a wonderful kind of protection against it. But if it doesn't hit you right in the mask, you can still, I wouldn't want to get hit in the side of the head with one, for instance. Here we go again. New Zealand with the puck, taking it out from the front of their goal, pretty much straight up the guts, looking for those two forwards. But the Argentinian number 6 does a fantastic job of diffusing whatever that was going to be. Emiliano Gnato. The refs have immediately called something. Not 100% sure what it is yet. It's going to be advantage to Argentina. Sorry, I probably should have said that New Zealand are playing in black and running from the left-hand side of your screen to the right-hand side. The Argentinians are in white. I guess that kind of lines up with the soccer versus rugby theme. Number 11 for New Zealand there, just getting crushed. Nathan Marshall, my namesake, getting crushed up against the wall by the Argentinian turn tackle. Certainly not illegal, just got smothered. But he's done very well to drive it up to the next one, and he's back down again for his third shift. And some messy sort of play up that wall. New Zealand's been sort of tricked into driving it right into the Argentine corner, and it's not really where they want to be. The other reason you don't want to be there is because it's right under their sub bench. So I think they're going to put 4 dudes in there. Nick Jones, with a really nice little pass under his butt there. Just got it on the front of his stick and managed to put it through. It didn't work, but good idea. Very skillful. You see the New Zealand team's now parked. Oh no, don't put the camera at the roof. The New Zealand team's parked a forward or two on the back wall, right in the middle of the Argentinians trying to rotate their backward line. So it didn't work, but you can see them disrupting the Argentinian defense. Number 10 for the Argentines still on the sideline. He must be very close to getting in. Refs are called a stick infringement against New Zealand. That's a little cutback to the game, guys. Giancarelli's back in, so the Argentines are back to 6. Probably a cliche. I've probably said it twice today already, but a guy like that coming off the bench is dangerous because he's a bit annoyed he got sent out. He's had a good 2 minutes to rest up, fresh legs. Sometimes they pop right into the middle of the game in a place you just don't expect to see them, and then they power off. And it happens pretty regularly that those guys get in and they make a big difference straight away. New Zealand has taken it wide. Part of the plan is to get it out into the middle of that goal and then drive the goal just as they are now. Keep it in the middle of a bunch of players. The Argentines have defused it, take it out the side of the New Zealand formation. Someone was missing there. See the Argentines subbing number 7. Valentina Reza. Just taking a rest there. Good time, good option to do it. The refs are calling up advantage puck to New Zealand now. Still only 1-0. 4 minutes 30 to go, roughly. Very late sub there from an Argentine. He probably should have gone. He's gone to sub because his number 9 has been put out. So they're just keeping the balance. Ignacio Morpos, trying to keep the balance of their formation right. Sometimes you get a back thrown out, and maybe you want to throw one of your own forwards out and replace them with a back, just to keep your defensive structure in good shape. New Zealand is driving hard on the goal there, but I think the left forward for New Zealand was just missing. Just got there just a shade late. You see the number 3 for New Zealand, Fraser Smith-Rice, just sitting out there in that little pocket of danger for Argentina. He's very quickly adjusting from being a defensive wing to an offensive wing. All right, the refs are saying someone's holding on to the top of the barrier, so you're not allowed to do that. You can't use the barrier as kind of an anchor point for yourself. And one of the New Zealanders is getting told off for doing it. All right, now hang on, we're going for refs timeout. Something's going on with The ref is basically explaining to him what holding onto the wall is. And at that point, you just say, yes, sir. We've got a funny infographic here. If you haven't noticed already, Ignacio Morcos is number 9 for Argentina is in what we normally call the sin bin. But for some reason, this has been coded into the system as jail, which we're all finding kind of amusing. Timeout's been called. I think it was the New Zealanders. Yes, that was. New Zealand's called timeout. So the Argentinian coach making the most of the New Zealand timeout to steady the troops. They are playing very well. Just feel like they're struggling to get out. You know, there's one person making a big break, and then you just can't find any buddies. And so they're doing a fantastic job one-on-one. New Zealanders look more structured. Okay, so you should be able to see the Argentinian formation here. You've got the 2 forwards up the front. Then you got a back and another back running at them. And then it looks like they must have 2 backs behind that. It almost looks like they're playing 2-2-2. All right, I missed one of the forwards there. It was just in the shadow. Okay, we'll get another chance to have a look at it now. If we had Spider Cam, we'd be able to see it super clearly. Argentina's taking it up again. And we got that wide left. Seems like a left forward, left back, or is it a New Zealand style wing? That number 6, sorry. Oh, crunch. Yeah, if the Argentine number 6 had just been a little more patient just at that moment and just stayed on the bottom for a couple of seconds, he might have gotten some really dangerous puck. See there, the New Zealanders taking it, stretching out the Argentinian formation and then putting it back in the middle. So the 3-on-1 there. Number 3, no, the refs have called that. Yeah, that's why everyone's gone up. New Zealand did something naughty, so they're going to take the 3-metre penalty. I glance out the window. I'm sometimes lucky enough to see the chief ref repeat the signal, but missed it again. Yeah, New Zealand is trying to take it wide, looking for that outside wing, except it's Nick Jones. See New Zealand number 6 getting stonewalled by that Argentine. He did a fantastic job, number 5. Daniel Hodlinger. But yeah, he stopped and he used his brains and he put a really nice pass past the Argentine and the 3 New Zealanders just surrounding him. Now they're driving very hard on the goal. There's a lot of New Zealanders on the bottom flat. There are not a lot of Argentines, and I think that's going to have to go in. Now let's just see if the refs have seen something else. The refs are all signalling goal. And so that's 2-0 to New Zealand. There's the New Zealand supporters up there. And very good timing too, because there's about 23 seconds left on the clock. So I think New Zealand will be very relieved to have put that away at the time that they did it. And I totally missed who scored the goal. Sorry, guys. I suck. Yeah, I'm going to have just enough time to go touch the puck, and then it'll be half time. And 2, 1, 0. Oh, they didn't quite get to the puck. Yeah, refs probably should have just not bothered with that strike. It was futile. No one's going to swim the length of the pool in 7 seconds. So that's half time. Everyone's going to switch ends. Nick Healy's the coach of the New Zealand under 24 team with Emma Ray. Emma was coaching the New Zealand men's team last year, and Nick's a current reigning world champion for the New Zealand team from the Gold Coast. I think he was even the captain. I should remember, I did watch the game. There's two guys, the New Zealand team brought 12 people, so you have to pick 2 people to sit out. So if you're wondering who they are, sorry, I should have run through that. They've scratched out Ryan Locke and Caleb DeVos for this game. So Sam Pav Smith there in the middle there, listening to Nick. And Caleb sitting in the chair out the back with his distinctive blonde mop. Harrison Brosnan playing number 10. One of the famous Brosnan clan, including my old friend Bruno. His sister's playing in the under 24 women's team for New Zealand as well, and his mum's managing the under 19 team. So as soon as Bruno gets himself sorted out and gets here, the entire family will be here. His uncle Brian played for New Zealand as well. Horrifically quick. Okay, about 15 seconds to go. And we're off. A little bit fuzzy on the screen I'm looking at, but you can see the New Zealanders have driven off to the right, away from the Argentinian sub-bench. I presume their plan is to work them over on that wall for a little bit and then bring it back into the centre, which is what's happening. Oh, if he could just slide it. Is that? No, that's the refs on that side. They are calling something. Yeah, a lot of the players today, particularly in the early games, really struggling to tell the difference between the buzzers on either court. New Zealand being forced back 3 metres for gloving, I believe. The ref was just repeating. Should come up on the screen in a second. Yeah, it was gloving. So kind of a minor foul, but obviously they got enough out of it. The refs were like going to pull them back for it. For those of you joining us in the second half, my name's Nat Marshall. I used to play in Wellington, used to play a little bit for New Zealand, and now I live in Sydney and play for Sydney and New South Wales. And luckily enough, the New Zealand Masters team last year, which was great fun. So, the boys listening, how you doing? Such a good bunch of guys. New Zealand again getting forced back. Didn't catch the refs. I think they're being thwarted a little bit. I kind of know what they're trying to do. And the Argentinians are actually being pretty successful one-on-one, just shutting that down. They've got good skill set. That's a lovely turn. Number 10, Harry Brosnan. Nice turn, bro. Argentinians have shut it down again, though. I think Harry in there stopping 2 guys at once and going through. Oh, the third guy got him, though. As they often do. I'll just find my team sheet here. Okay, the refs have stopped the game. This time it's going to be advantage to the New Zealand team. Number 3, Thomas Ramsbottom there. You can see him in the bottom left-hand corner following the play along. Just shadowing along. If the puck slides out sideways for him, he will take that straight to the goal. But it's gone out the door. We've got, in the New Zealand formation, we've got two doors, and Australians talk about this as well. We've got a front door and a back door. So the front door is like, if you swim it straight at the goal, the front door is basically how they came at you. The back door is when it slides out the back onto the front of the tray, and someone sneaks out the back. And so there's usually someone in the New Zealand formation who's got a job that is to close the front door. There's usually a couple of guys doing that. But also, really importantly, to close the back door. If the other team gets so desperate they turn across the front of their goal, you want a guy just sitting right on there just to punch it in. And that offside wing position in the New Zealand formation is very often that person. And so they have to cover a lot of space on the surface. So it's a somewhat unglamorous job because you swim your guts out and you actually don't touch puck, but you're still covering it. And so you're oscillating wildly back and forth between being a defensive player when we don't have the puck and being an offensive player when we do have the puck. And so it's a little bit like rugby. Wingers have got, defined defensive jobs and defined offensive jobs. And the switch back and forth between those is, it's tough work. And so, you can see that Thomas was doing that work just then. Okay, the refs have given another advantage puck to New Zealand, and they've also kicked out one of the Argentinian players. We'll get their name in a second. I can't see his cap number through the glare here, but Xavier is this guy. I'm probably horribly mispronounced your name. I'm sorry to his family. Zykai? Oh, that's a nice turn. It's good technique. Number 10, Harry's let him out. Come on. Yeah, the New Zealand players there, they had a three-pronged attack right on one Argentinian guy, and then unfortunately the first guy was a bit cooked and went up, and unfortunately the second guy I think misunderstood which way Harry was attempting to go and also went up, so it really let him out of jail there. Oh, was that a high shot pass? Again, you can see that New Zealand winger screaming in from the back there to close that back door. The puck is in the goal. The refs are all signalling goal to each other, and I believe they're signalling number 4, Nicholas Jones, scored that one. It's a good effort. I thought Nick was playing goalie. Maybe he's playing in the centres there. Refs are calling no, sorry, that is a timeout to Argentina. I'm just working out. And they've also kicked out another Argentinian player. I think it's number 6, Emiliano Ganialto. Again, I'm sorry, I'm mangling your names. I apologise. So the Argentines, that's a good time to call a timeout. They're down to 4. You want to give your 4 guys as much rest as they can grab right now because they're about to eat 6 New Zealanders at once. And so I think the New Zealanders will try and drive at the 4, engage 2 or 3 of them, and then that puck will get slid sideways, probably on about a 90-degree angle, maybe a little bit backwards of that, out to someone who's going to throw it wide or swim it wide at the goal. And it's going to depend on where the refs end up putting this puck. I don't actually catch where they're going to restart the game from. If it's from the side, it's almost to the advantage of the New Zealanders because they want to take it to the middle. They don't want to start necessarily in the middle if they're only going to try and beat 4 people. I don't want to get too complacent though because many famous examples of teams that have had a whole pile of people in the sin bin have just played out of their skin and ended up scoring a goal at the other end, or some really quite improbable 2-on-6s even I've heard and seen where the 2 has scored a goal by some ridiculous hero maneuver from one of them. And the other team's sort of, maybe they're a little complacent. Maybe they're like, someone else will get it because there's so many of us, or they just feel entitled to the goal. So I don't think New Zealand will want to fall into that trap. They're certainly driving the front door very well. Here we go. That needed to come sideways, but unfortunately fortunately for the Argentines, they were all over stopping that person, bringing it sideways. That's no goal. The puck is in the goal, but it's no goal. The refs are signalling that the New Zealanders used their glove to advance the puck, and so that's not going to count. And the score remains at 3-3. Just had an update from Wellington. Thanks, Jeff Copeland. He's just disambiguating my horrible commentary. He's saying Carlos Ralph is actually playing centre in the New Zealand formation. And Nick Jones is playing wing, so that does explain what he was doing. I was playing with him the other day, and he was playing goalie very well. So, and that's advantage puck to New Zealand. You see the Argentines are taking the opportunity to sub. They're going to be one man down, but they do have all their players back in the water, so that's not as catastrophic as I first thought. That both of them are back in. Huge turn right in front of the goal there to drive again into that centre channel. But the Argentines have got good, strong body position on the bottom there. The New Zealanders are in good position to attack, but the Argentines have tactically taken care of that very nicely. Very dangerous for them, but they've maintained all composure at that point. The body position's better. All right, New Zealanders again trying to bring it out, maybe on that 90-degree angle, but the refs have called something. And it's against New Zealand. Yeah, shout out to Simon Walker in Dunedin, any of the other members of the Dunedin club. Still very fond of you all. I don't think the men's team has got any Dunedin guys in it this year, but certainly there's plenty in the women's team. Maya Chus, Jade. It's probably someone else I'm not thinking of properly. I think there's 3. Simon will correct me in a second. New Zealand hard on defence there. The Argentines have got the puck right on their 5-metre line. Reasonably good angle at the goal. All 12 guys down. And no, that's the other court. No, the refs haven't called. It's still going. It's still going, and everyone's come up. The Argentines so close there. Desperately unlucky. Then 3 New Zealanders managed to get down just at the last second. Everybody, all 11 players except for that one Argentine guy who was awake, thought that was the play had stopped. Now the New Zealanders are driving very hard up the middle of the pool. And they've driven it all the way to the right corner. And they've hit the back wall. It's a bit fuzzy there. You can see the New Zealand winger just watching. Unfortunately, no, sorry, I'm not right. The refs haven't called anything there. The Argentines have done a fantastic job of clearing that out from a very dangerous situation. Unfortunately, one of the Argentinian players has just passed it straight to a New Zealander. He's taking it basically to the sub-bench, and they're going to take a couple of turns. Oh, no, the Argentines have burgled it straight off the New Zealand guy. He was trying to hold it on the bench, and it's been taken off him straight at the goal. The mobile cameraman can catch up through the bubbles. We might be able to tell. Again, the New Zealanders resetting on the wall, and the tactic there is put it on the wall, wait till 3 people get out above you, and then give it to a guy with a black stick, and then you can get out. All right. Puck has gone over the wall. The refs are calling an equal puck, which you don't get often these days. Although I did have one this morning, but you can play a whole tournament and not get an equal puck. this time. It's interesting. They must have hit a bunch of people or a bunch of stuff on the way out for someone to say that the flick going over the goal was not anyone's fault. We've seen the work rate from the New Zealand team there, so popping up, one breath back, straight back down again. Just looking out on it, we got a picture there. Oh, Argentinian player number 10, very skillfully managing to turn off two New Zealanders at the same time. Old school move, but it worked. Again, the New Zealanders just being patient. Oh, tried to throw a big dummy. Didn't work. But the refs have called something up. New Zealand bench looked pretty happy. Applause all round. And New Zealand's going to call a timeout by the look of what the behaviour of the subbing bench is currently. Yep, that's a timeout to New Zealand. So they've got about 2 minutes 20 on the clock. You can see why they'd use up that last timeout. See Nick Healy and Emma Ray, and they're giving people some sort of last minute advice. Oh, and Scarlett is the other person from Dunedin I've forgotten. Thanks, thanks, Simon. I won't name you. Mitchell Thomas Beck there in the number 9 cap, I think. Was in the New Zealand team that played in Malaysia last year and thrashed us 17-0. Boy, these boys came hard at us. Scored some phenomenally hot goals. And then played a final against Australia that went to extra time, which you don't see often in men's hockey. The women's game, of course, was broke the world record for the longest underwater hockey test match ever. I got it was 110 minutes or something ridiculous. Or it was 70 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes or something. It was golden goal for 30-something minutes. But both teams, credit to both teams' fitness as they held it together. They were still playing very, very good hockey at the end of all that. Number 6, Daniel Hoglinger in there. Good cap number. It's a good hard turn. You've got to be careful in those circumstances because if you turn with your elbow like that and one of the Argentines' heads are in the way, you're going to elbow them straight in the head and the refs are not going to love it. Zoe Huang, I think Simon Walker's just letting me know, is the 4th Dunedin girl. So Dunedin's made a huge contribution to the women's team. I thought she was from Auckland, sorry. Was she the under 19s? Hang on, was there another Zoe even? Quite a few Zoes. My daughter Zoe. Zoe Firth's managing one of the New Zealand teams. Zoe Huang's in the under 19s. Sorry, slightly off topic. All right, New Zealand's driven it into the Argentinian corner, or the Argentinians have been clever enough to force them to swim that way. Again, it's as far away from the Argentinian sub-bench as you're going to get in this half of the pool. So the refs are calling something, it's going to get too tight in there. You put 12 big guys like this on the bottom and someone's going to foul someone, accidentally or just out of frustration from the fact that you can only move the puck about 2 inches before you get walloped. So Sam Pav Smith out there on the wing. Oh no, sorry, he's playing left forward, what am I saying? Oh, the New Zealanders are all lined up here. Number 13, Thomas Ramsbottom. Number 9, Mitchell Thomas Beck. Oh, and that was the back door. Back door was just left slightly open, and the Argentines have taken the puck out through it because they're smart. Stuck in the corner, the Argentines are taking a chance to sub. New Zealand also taking a sub, which is a long swim back for whoever's coming. Oh no, sorry, the refs have called something. And players restarted. Argentines hard on defence, right in front of their own goal, 5 metres out, as close as the refs are allowed to put the puck, unless it's a penalty shot. New Zealand just controlling the middle. Oh, that's a beautiful dummy. Oh, he's fired it at the tin, but he's just missed, and the front door was just marginally open. New Zealand forwards go up, content to let the Argentines, do the work of taking it out of the corner. There we go. Nick, again, fantastically skillful player. He's not a big dude, but man, is he tough. New Zealand trying to... Nope, refs have called something. Mitchell Thomas Beck there, just wisely not attempting to dummy the referee. And that is time. So final score 3-0, New Zealand versus Argentina. I think the Argentinians, their one-on-one skills again, fantastic. Certainly the measure of the New Zealanders, but just every now and again, particularly when the New Zealanders get that forward drive, they really put the accelerator on. They put 3 big dudes on the bottom moving forward very quickly. And that tends to mean they've managed to drive it into the goal a couple of times. Argentines probably, unlucky a couple of times not to score a goal, particularly that moment where everybody went up except that one Argentinian guy whose cap number I didn't catch. That is so close to being a goal. And so I think they were sort of desperately unlucky on that front to maybe not get one. And I guess there was another time as well where, to give the New Zealanders credit, they did defend very solidly, but the Argentines did construct a goal opportunity very well there, and probably just a bit unlucky. The puck will bounce off something and bounce off something else and just slide out right in front of you, and you'll never know where it came from, and you can just punch it in the goal. So, sometimes it's the case of you didn't get the goal because you're just a bit unlucky, but actually you were very well prepared. So, don't know how New Zealand will take 3-0 against Argentina. Maybe they wanted more or not. But no, that was a pretty good game. Entertaining. You could see the structure that people were trying to play with, and what they were trying to do was getting, I guess, stymied quite badly by the opposition. So the sort of counter-intelligence, the counter-moves were sort of impressive to see. I'll stop rabbiting on, and I'll give one final shout-out to Simon Walker in Dunedin because he hates it. And maybe I'll see you guys later in the day.